Good afternoon, this is Oxinity channel on education. Branding is to give your service or product an identity, something that is recognizable by your consumers, and competitors, of course. So it is actually consumers who build the brand identity according to marketers, or that's what they say. So today we're going to talk about brand identity, how to build it, and how to make the most of the tools that we can offer so that you grow in students. We're here today with Rob Wiley in Barcelona and Graham Bell in Malaga. And we're also going to connect with Otto Maston in Madrid and Monica Milioti in Madrid as well. My name is Radmila Gurkova, so let's get started. Okay, guys, who gives a brand an identity? In our case, for instance, let's start with this simple concept. In our case, in English teaching, how do we create an identity and who gives it?
I mean, I guess the teachers, no? As teachers, we can create an identity, a brand, with the help of the system that we have. The everything, we work as a team, so we can help through with a good logo and stuff like that. Build a brand and use that for the future.
Okay, so how do we help teachers recognize what their identity is actually?
For me, that comes from when we do the TEFL course. I know that Krista and Patricia, they work with the guys to make their personal profiles, and one of the most important things is who they are. It's not there's 1,000,001 teachers out there.
Yeah,
if they're qualified, they've got the right qualifications. That's great. But it's who you are as a person. We're all very different. It's about selling who you were before you became a teacher. Your past experiences, or your hobbies, your loves, your desires, everything that makes you who you are. I mean, we have a whole multitude of different styles of teachers that work with us, and they form the identity. It's not just a brand and the logo. That kind of just is the umbrella that signifies who we are, right?
actually, they say that the brand, the logo, and all these things, or more than the brand, the design, it's important. But that's once you have your identity, that you create the merchandising around it, not the other way around. So, so what makes our teachers unique, Graham and Rob? What they do? Do they do something different, and that would make them unique? And I'm not talking about their personal traits, which of course are unique, but what else do they have?
Their teaching style. I just I really enjoyed it with the TEFL students this week, and we were looking at two dramatically different teachers that they've been observing, and we were trying to underpin what allowed them to be how they are. And one of them was Billy Thornton, and the other one was Omar.
Yeah.
And they are such contrasting teachers. Billy's much more energetic and flowing, much more quick thinking, and Omar is much more dedicated towards the activities and very structured and puts things through. But they both have different personal attributes as teachers. But the one thing that underpinned them was the fact they had the materials planned out for them. So they had this safety net to fall in. So you either follow the activities greatly, or you go in there with this open attitude to be super flexible, and you use your personal attributes. And both of those teachers needed that to be able to do what they were doing.
Excellent. So when I visit usually classes, I sometimes like to pop in the classes, and I have my perspective, which is, I don't know up to what extent the teachers are aware, but I would point out with one thing, which is confidence. They all transmit confidence. Maybe they don't even realize it, but from the outside, that's what it is. And I think that above all is due to what you just explained. They have that safety net. They are prepared. You can say they feel like they are enjoying, definitely, but they're prepared.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Rob?
No, I was going to say, just going on from that, if you're not prepared, you're automatically going to not be confident, because you won't be comfortable with the material you've got in front of you, you won't be comfortable with how to use it. So preparation, I think, is the key thing. The fact that we support each other as well, I think, helps. We got the community now, so we all work together, we all pull, and we all go in the same direction. So I think stuff like that helps us as well.
Actually,
Absolutely, we all learn from
Yeah,
it, don't we?
yeah. Well, that's what you said. You said you were watching videos of two different teachers, and I'm sure maybe you picked up, as well as the TEFLs, you picked up some little things, and we all learn from each other. And it's through having these talks or speaking with the other teachers, if we've got a class in the same place together, or whatever it is, we're always learning.
Yeah, absolutely. I got great feedback from one of the students in the course before about working with Matthew Hammond, and he has this technique that he sticks to rigidly of doing this he takes notes all the way through, and he does this 10 minutes at the end, and I heard that, and I'm like, oof, I need to add that to my teaching skills, and it made me better, constantly learning and becoming a better teacher from observing other guys teach, right?
Of course.
there is one thing that, talking about identity, we mentioned that it's something that clients recognize about you. And there is definitely something that clients recognize about us. And this is how we start the class. And I know that from the thousands of comments that I read. So the simple fact that we all start with the quick questions is something that no one else does. So that's part of our identity as well.
Yeah.
What else is characteristic? So that this is important, because whenever we explain about what is different about us, I think that teachers have to remember that. What else would you point out apart from these quick questions that we do?
I mean, I think the material that we use is very different from other places. The fact that we prepare the material ourselves and share it, going back to this idea of the community, we share the material, and I think that's something that's very unique.
Yeah, actually, there was another one of our teachers, former teachers. He popped in the office a few days ago and he said, well, I've been using many systems, and you are the only system that supports teachers with materials. So apparently that is kind of much appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, knowing friends, having friends who work elsewhere, but as a teacher in the city, I recognize I'm very fortunate in that respect.
Yeah. I think it's something also that we miss with the quick questions, is that I think some teachers I've had feedback from, and some students think that it's just marketing, and they think it's just an identity of the company, but not realizing it's a branding which the customer feels comfortable with, and it gets them into the learning zone. I always try and refer it back to Pavlov's dog, because that quick questions is the ringing of the bell. It's that get your behavior into learning mode, and I love to use quick questions to get, when you see that student who's sitting relaxed, looking comfortable, ready to start class. Well, I use quick questions to get them to sit up and pay attention. I deliberately make something difficult, and that's our brand. We engage them. That's part of what their brand is.
It's exactly that, isn't it? To go and it's like, okay, the class is starting now, sit up like you say, and I try and trick them sometimes as well. Throw them a difficult one.
Yeah, there is another thing that is quite characteristic, and again is part of our identity, and few people realize to what extent we are unique on that. I'll give you an example. So I read a couple of days ago that Microsoft has presented a roadmap for digitalizing classroom content. So we're talking about something that we are already doing for many years now. So for many years now, we said goodbye to textbooks, and we have digitalized all our content, and we're presenting it in a certain way that provides ready-to-go classroom material for all the teachers. So yeah, we're not Microsoft, but this is something that is part of our identity as well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our USPs. I mean, I think one of the things that made me really happy teachers were the same is when we changed the what we did for class cancellations.
Yeah.
We talk about the live book that we have, and the fact that we invest so much of our time and money into modernizing the actual materials all the time. We're trying to keep them as fresh as possible, and we're constantly adding to them and changing them. And I think that students really appreciate that when they're doing something that's not talking about, it's fresh, it's today, it's as up to date as possible. Our topics are new, they're current, they're within the last couple of months, rather than following a textbook which is from 2 decades ago.
And actually that creates a very high rhythm in class, high engagement. We're going to talk about how important the engagement is when you create your identity, but at least in class we have achieved that. So related to that, Uniqueness is also associated with having a voice. So as a teacher, those who have a voice and transmit it clearly definitely have more chances to build audience, to become relevant for this audience. So let's talk about this, having a voice and the channels that would transmit that voice. So in the first place, how can we help teachers find their voice?
Well, there's so much to that. I mean, to having a voice partly comes from having an umbrella to work under. So Oxinity itself as a brand, it gives you a channel. If you were out there on your own, I've had many people say to me, why don't you, Graham, why don't you just go independent and advertise online classes? And I'm like, well, I'm nothing in the world. I've got no ability to connect. There's so much competition out there. But the Oxinity brand has existed Oxbridge TEFL has existed for 15 plus years. So it has a marketplace. It has a channel. It has an ear in the world, So that's probably our initial voice. But then I guess it's making a connection in other platforms too.
Excellent. So for instance, where can teachers find inspiration, for instance, for content that they can share? Rob,
you mean in terms of for classes?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess online, there's lots of material online that you can use. Each other as well, though, right? You can get inspiration from
everywhere.
From everywhere. It's all around us, Sometimes you can just be like walking down the street.
The classes, probably interacting with students, give a lot of ideas.
Yeah, because we have such different students.
Yeah.
And from such different backgrounds, that of course you get a lot of inspiration from them as well.
Okay. So regarding channels, we know that if we want to transmit a message, we have the most important social media channels. So very recently, we have created the possibility for the teachers to create their own blog posts. And having a blog, actually. So having a blog, why is it important? Because having a blog means that they're going to produce content that they think, with which they can engage with the audience. And in this regard, I just want to stress something, that it's very important that before we choose other channels, we feed our blog. Because from there, then we can share in other social media. One very important thing here is that we engage people in our website. Say we post something that is amazingly interesting. Say we choose to first post it on Facebook. Okay, many people will probably engage, or not so many, we don't know that, but it will definitely be seen. Now, they will stay on Facebook though. Now imagine that same content is shared in our blog. What that will provoke is that same engagement will be within our website. So the consequence is that people will spend much more time on our website, and Google will notice it. So Google, no one knows what is the formula for their algorithm and why they put someone before, what exactly increases your chances of being listed higher. But what is true is that the more people visit your website and stay there, the better. So that's why directing people to your blog is definitely going to help in getting clients.
Yeah. Just while we were talking about blogs for the moment, because Julie's just made a comment now live about blogs. So she said, you can find a voice through the creation of a blog. I think I'm still trying to find my voice as a blogger. So right now she posts about content that she thinks is interesting or to teachers, or maybe gives an insight to the world of teaching for the students. And so she said to get inspiration, sources online can be useful. For example, one article on Edutopia suggests to create a Pinterest board or to look at other teacher blogs for inspiration.
In any case, what Julie has achieved is something amazing. So right now, if you Google Profesora de Inglés in Madrid, Julie appears in page 2. That's amazing. That's amazing. If we think of all the teachers that are there in Madrid, private teachers in Madrid, Julie's on page 2. Though why she has it? Because she's been constantly producing content and directing people to her website.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So she's definitely gained relevancy. She will find her voice. She has it. She has a voice, and her blog posts are very engaging. But what she's achieved is that for Google, she matters. That's it. By the way, when I said Profesora Inglés in Madrid, there is one concept that I would like to explain as well, which is all of us know what a keyword is and how we can use keywords to find information on Google. But there's another concept which is long tails. So whenever we Google something, the longer the combination of words, the easier we will find this information. So we have to use it when our teachers start blogging. In the title of their blog posts, it's better to go for long tails rather than one keyword. One keyword can be, I don't know, Inglés or English or teaching English. Instead, if we go for something longer like Profesora de Inglés de Primaria en Madrid, the chances of being ranked higher are much bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would like to talk with Autumn now, to connect with Autumn. And because first of all, Autumn, I know that it was Thanksgiving for you guys yesterday. So I just wanted to hear your experience. How do you engage with your students and followers? Not only online, but also in the classroom. Tell us about it. I don't know if we have her. Anyways,
Okay then. So we lost the connection, but we'll come back. So I have a question for you guys then from Torso. It says, when posting on LinkedIn and Facebook, would it be too annoying for people if you post every day? And if so, what content is most effective for the post? So basically about how frequent would you post and what type of content is most effective that you find?
With LinkedIn, you have to be careful. I know what Tors means. Sometimes LinkedIn can become a little bit like Facebook for professionals, and a lot of people overpost. I think something important once a week, in my opinion, is more than enough. I think every day on LinkedIn, and people will start to unfollow you. It has to be something that's really genuinely amazing, something that's really genuinely engaging. And I think to concentrate on one thing that you think is really great, rather than just to be thinking to blanket every day with something random, is going to be much more effective. But I think with LinkedIn, one thing that we really need to do more as a collective is to follow each other and what we do.
Definitely.
You know, we should be liking each other's posts much more and giving that strength to each other and using our collective to its greater strength.
That's it. It benefits everyone.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, absolutely. We want to look. We're unified as a company. We should present that as much as possible.
Yeah. Go on.
No,
I was going to say we all need to work together, right? We're all in it together, and helping each other benefits everyone. It's not
absolutely.
That brings another idea. I was just another article that I was reading on Forbes this times. I'm going to share all these articles that I'm reading for everyone to know. So they were saying, okay, the world is going freelance, and by 2020. 50% of the professionals in the USA will become freelance, and that's a huge number, which means that after the USA, the rest of the world will follow. We know that. But the point here is that freelancers have more autonomy, they have more flexibility, which is their selling point, their strengths. But also those who kind of find associations will definitely be stronger. So right now is the moment to find the partnerships that we need, and having each other is absolutely necessary and important. So but going back to what Tor says, what is important as well is, okay, you can post things on LinkedIn and on Facebook, but again, remember, producing original content or organic content in your blog, that's even more important. And why am I saying that? Because there is another element which we always have to have in mind, always, no matter what we do: metrics. We have to measure every outcome. So if you want, I'm addressing it to Thor, but actually for everyone, if you want to know what works, what is engaging, and what is relevant, you have to measure it. So we have created in your websites the option of keeping track of your clicks and leads. That's important. So you will know whether this content that I'm putting on LinkedIn is relevant or not, how many visits I have out of it, or maybe if I post it on Facebook, I have this outcome, and so on. Yeah. So you cannot, I mean, if something works in marketing, it's not magic. It's a result of really very conscious analysis of what you're doing, how relevant and engaging you are, and then measuring outcomes. I think we have Autumn now. So let's see if we can hear her experience.
Okay, well, first I want to say thanks for the Thanksgiving. Love this day.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Interacting with my students is mostly before I started auxiliary, so a lot of was for parents, and students, and I would have a million WhatsApp teachers. So I really like really.
I think we're struggling to
hear. We're struggling, yeah.
Autumn, unfortunately, we're here struggling. So not only me.
We can maybe put a video or something after, like a recording for the blog post.
I will definitely reach you for your experience, and we're going to share it. Thank you, and sorry for that. But moving on, I think we have more.
Yeah, we have some questions or some other comments as well. So Harvey, so he says Oxinity, we've got a logo, but do we have a slogan? That's his first question.
Yeah.
And if not, he says, for example, when Apple started branding, all their branding had the slogan, "Hi, I'm a Mac." So maybe Harvey, you can think of some. And if we don't have one already,
great idea. Actually, yes. But before me saying what our slogan is, it's a collaborative decision. So, guys, share your suggestions. Let's make it a competition. Actually, let's vote for the best slogan. Harvey, this one is on you.
This one's on you, mate. You've got no pressure.
Just volunteer.
Yeah. Well, no more comments from Harvey anymore. Okay, Bridget has asked, how do we market confidence and the value of our community aspect and the learning model to potential students? So the best way to market confidence. Graham, you're nodding. Do you have any
no, that's good. Bridget's doing the TEFL that moving forward. I don't think that I'm not sure if Bridget's seen our website yet, and the website she will eventually have, but that provides a lot of that. Your video will show your confidence as a teacher. You know, and so you are, and the essay that they produce, which essentially is an open advert for their style, shows their skills. I guess through the Oxinity YouTube, we have lots of testimonials from teachers, lots of examples of how we teach, which would show our technique. Confidence, well, that's difficult to market. I think that's a bit more in person, right? I mean, obviously your video is going to give a little bit. Confidence is what you do in the classroom.
Exactly. I think it is quite difficult. Like you say, you've got the video, and maybe if you're blogging, maybe you could do video blogging and all this maybe to before. But I guess it comes down to when you're in the classroom the first time, showing you're prepared, like we said, showing you're confident with the class and the structure and everything going with it, and then from the first class. they should be able to see, okay, this guy, this person's confident.
Absolutely. Bridget, I recommend you to read the comments from your students, because you will have them as soon as you start teaching on a regular basis. That will give you confidence. You'll see, because they are really, really, really generous, but more than generous, they reflect your how well you've done in class. So read them. That will give you confidence. And then an advice that before I started writing my thesis, my father gave me, because I was wondering, oh, but will this be engaging? Will this be relevant? And he just said, fear not. So really, you have to write and you have to share your opinion without thinking, oh, but is this relevant or not? You just have to do it. And you will see that, first of all, with time, you will find your voice, and people will start expecting your posts.
They'll start waiting for it. And I know that, just to go off the point about the student comments there, we can all see the comments that the student give us, and then you could use them to show a potential new student as well, right? You can say, okay, well, here's genuine comments from my students. You can take a look at them, and then that's a good sort of way to get more students as well. Another
thing that will give you confidence is more than 90%, maybe I always say that 95, 96% of the people that try with us, they register. So there you go. I mean, what else? The numbers speak.
They speak for themselves.
That's it.
I think it's also quite daunting as well, especially with these guys just starting off. And even when we've been doing it for a while, the first thing you're doing is trying to find your teaching style, and that's trial and error. You observe lots of different teachers and you practice in that 4-week course to try and find it. And even then, you're still developing it as you move forward. It's exactly the same with your voice online and writing. It's trial and error. Suck it and see. Try something, do your metrics. Is it successful? And, reflect, prepare, do it again.
Absolutely. I would like to try to connect with Monica Milioti. Let's see if we can hear her experiences, because she has definitely, in my opinion, found that voice, because the material that she shares, at least, is very engaging for me. So, Monica, what inspires you to write? Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. All right.
Okay, sorry.
No. What inspires you, Monica, to when you want to share content?
Okay, the most important thing for me is that, for example, I try to entertain a lot. So because I'm actually really, I would say, a movie freak and a real aficionado of music, I try to connect, idioms or words or expressions to known movies or TV series or music videos, so that also it helps students to remember them better, So this is why I actually post regularly, and I do it posting, for example, links with YouTube, movie trailers, movie scenes, music videos and things like that, because first I tried with photos, images, which is good, but I think video, something that people actually see on a daily basis, or something that they actually know, like the lyrics of a song or something like that, can actually engage them in catch their attention, and also keep them entertained, so that they actually remember better expressions,
definitely,
things like that.
Definitely, and a very nice way of providing an after-class practice too for your students.
Yeah,
absolutely. I always say, we never give homework, but the only homework I would like to give you, if necessary, would be to watch this series, for example, or just to watch the music video that we briefly watched during class, and just try to understand the lyrics, because this is also the way I actually learned English when I was very, very young.
Yeah.
Through lyrics, by just listening to songs and music and things like that.
I think we can't underestimate, like you said, how important that is. I think back to students. I had a couple of young girls, probably 10 years old, spoke perfect English, like no word of a lie. And I was like, guys, this is incredible, because I thought maybe one of their parents was English or something, but no. Through watching movies and translating songs, they love music and film, and they watched it from when they were tiny, tiny little kids, always in English, and the results were incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
Completely. I think the things that I really like about yours, Monica, engages learning students.
Yeah.
I find what you post is engaging, full stop, whether it's for learning or not. And I think that's why yours are so good. When I see yours on my LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, what's that? And I follow the link. And that's the best bit. It's not just for learning English. It's actually interesting.
Perfect.
Okay.
I have
Monica, you wanted to continue?
No, I just wanted to say one thing, because this is like a general observation, but I also think, and I guess you already stressed that in earlier, is that of course you always have to let's say evaluate a little bit the person you have in front. Because, like, for example, I was thinking about yesterday, I had a first class with a student. He doesn't like music because he says it's only noise. Doesn't like movies, doesn't like TV series.
Okay.
Challenging. So how do you keep his attention? Like, it doesn't like anything, because I was like, what do you like? But eventually I found a topic for conversation. But I mean, in general, it's always very important to concentrate on the type of person you have in front of you in that very moment.
And I'm curious, what was it that he or she was interested in? I'm just curious.
Well, books for one thing, but he couldn't tell me what his favorite book was. So he was very generally talking about the book he was reading at the moment. And he was talking about some sports, but not really. I mean, but I found a way at least to connect.
Excellent.
Because I think it's very important to connect with a student. Like in this, it's really important to create a connection.
Excellent.
One way or the other, So sometimes they're not really interested in the activity that you're actually that you have on your screen at the moment. Just improvise. Just
basically
for them to connect with you.
Of course, you didn't give up. You tried to find what that person would like, and that's it. Excellent.
But just a few more comments, and we'll finish. Kevin has said, I think if we focus on existing students and directing them to our blogs or social media, they can directly comment, allowing new students to see their opinion, which is a good point. And then I think we'll go to the final one for Julie. So she said, I usually try to connect the lessons with relevant topics in the news, or that she knows that the student, an interest the student has. If the conversation is really interesting, I will post about it on social media platforms, or even include it in the blog posts. And so I think my next challenge will be to try to teach with my blogs, as some teachers already have found that to be a successful tool.
Okay.
And for an example, she says to take a look at the blog half an hour.
Half an hour?
Half an hour is, and I think we have a link somewhere.
Yeah, we're going to post that link for everyone. Yeah, of course, any good examples are welcome. Okay, well, to summarize, we need to find our identity. We need to know what our identity is. We need to find our voice, and once we have it, then use the channels wisely. So no matter whether you're going to use Facebook or LinkedIn, start with your blog, feed it, and engage with people so that they stay as long as possible in your website. That is definitely going to work. And then bear in mind and always remember to check the metrics. They're going to tell you what works and what doesn't, so that you continue or you try something new. As Graham said, it's trial and error. Many thanks, Graham, Monica, Rob, and also Tom. I'm sorry for the connection problems, but we're going to share all these comments, and we will see you next Friday at 12. Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Al cambiarlo al canal de directo,
Sí.
no lo ha soportado y se le ha quedado frisada la cámara. Y le ha quedado todo.
Bueno,
pasa
es una pena porque...
Aparte ha habido un error o una confusión, y es que
Sí.
tú
Claro, nos había dado un orden y luego...
nos dices un orden y nos parece primero auto. Entonces Fer puso
mandé
a Mónica y estuvo ella saliendo,
porque no escuché,
pero
cuando tú dijiste auto no lo escuché, solo
Hostia.
escuché la pregunta.
entonces ella sale callada, se sale un poco en el
No,
aire.
pero la próxima
Vale,
vez que
perdón.
haremos no nos darás orden y ya está.
Perdón,
Sí, en función del
perdón.
nombre que nos digas la pondremos.
Sí, nos
Es que no sé por qué le di primero a ella.
No te preocupes,
No,
algo.
da igual. La próxima simplemente...
Nómbralo y ya
los
nosotros.
nombras y ya está.
Uf.
Nada.
Y yo me acordé,
Pero es que
danos
lo
tiempo y yo,
fuerte-
Autumn. Y entonces empecé a enrollarme y dije, qué bien lo estoy haciendo, pensé.
Sí. Pues Autun incluso te contestó en mi canal, pero yo te había pasado a Mónica. Y
Hostia.
te contestó en mi canal y todo. Y
Por eso Mónica-
ellas se enteraron, pero yo no, porque no escuché el Autun, escuché la pregunta nomás.
Claro,
Ay.
yo también pensaba que habías escuchado que ya había dicho auto. Y cuando
Pues-
vi que pasaste, yo dije, qué raro.
Pues si queréis, la próxima me ponéis un cartelito con el nombre del que tenéis.
No.
Sí.
Tú
¿No?
dices el nombre.
No, ya está.
Sí, simplemente esto ha sido la confusión.
Exacto, el orden.
Si no hubieras dado esto, no hubiéramos enterado.
Me cachis en la mar.
Pero,
Graham, I'm intrigued what I said
Brilliant.
last week that made you laugh.
Oh,
It's been eating me up. I've been like half an hour. I'm like, what did I say that made you like?
al niño. Que fue cuando dijiste.
Mónica, la próxima saca a tu hijo en YouTube, no pasa nada. Puedes poner.
Yeah.
¿El bebé era
Claro.
de Mónica?
No lo sé, ¿era de ella?
Sí, era de Mónica, ¿no?
Sí. Ah, pues...
Yeah.
¿Se ha caído? Se me ha ido el internet a lo mejor, ¿no? Ok. Ah.
Is Tom there with you?
No.
Ah, I thought you were talking to him.
It's the two northerners and our sarcasm. I'm like Carlos. I'm like, oh, happy days.
You're about to kill me.
Happy
You're about to
days.
kill me. It was just the way you.
You'd have to send me the video and send me what minute because I refuse to watch it all. So I'll only watch that specific minute of the video and I'm like, congratulations.
I
Oh
forgot.
no, I said nice happy days.
El chat.
I forgot to mention.
¿Tienes permiso para hacerlo?
¿Qué chat?
It's just really funny. There's
Finalizo
a lot
la...
of moments where it's not actual comedy, it's just things that I'm like, oh my god, that's so sarcastic.
I probably did mean it as a sarcastic way for Carlos anyway, so it's fine.
I genuinely felt like it was sarcastic. Dying. And Tom was just as sarcastic. I was like, oh my god. No, I could tell you had a good relationship with him.
Yeah, like
Okay.
we wind each other up a bit. Anyway, I need to go, but I'll see you next week, mate. Yeah, have a good
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, I'll see
Thank
you
you,
in
Graham.
Scotland. I'll
Oh.
Ah,
be
yeah.
in Scotland next week. Oh yeah, you have to ask where I am.
When are you coming
Sorry,
back?
Graham.
When are you coming back, Graham?
No.
Sunday, I'm only going for a week, so
Ah,
I'm just going
okay.
to do everything online.
So
back home.
for the following talk, can we meet? You can meet from Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Well,
Yeah. Excellent.
All right, see you later.
Okay.
See you later, guys.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys.